Snap to Beagle. Off the play action, he's being pressured, and he is driven down. C.J. Keeler drilled the freshman quarterback back at the 8-yard line. It's now second down and more than 20 yards to go. And Tony just said it, this Ranger defense right now playing with his hair on fire.
The third quarterback sack of the season, and I promise you that C.J. has had one, none have been this exciting for him.
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. Brant Freeman with Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. For the 14th time in the Coach Hill era, the Rangers are 4-0, courtesy of a 43-20 district opening win this past Friday at Steele. Coach, an impressive win for you in more ways than one. Steele had been kind of a thorn in your side the past several years. That had to be pretty satisfying this past Friday.
Well, you know, yeah. I mean, it's a district opener in a tough league, so every win gives you a leg up on four of them who lost that night. And you mentioned our history with them. We've played them 3 times prior to, lost a couple of close games, and you know, it was maybe time to exercise that demon a little bit. But it's good. You know, it was good. I mean, it gets us off to a 1-0 start, and you know, to go in and play a highly ranked foe at their place in a district opener and come away with a win like we did, yeah, pretty satisfying, but back to work now.
Sure. Well, looking back at the way the game started, Steele scored at his first possession, took an early 7-0 lead, and they were on the way to building a 14-0 lead before you got a turnover. The game seemed to turn from there. Even though you made it a 1-point game on the ensuing drive, Steele again pulled out in front 14-6, and it looked like it might be that score at halftime. You're down by 8 with under a minute to go, and you don't get a third down conversion. Steele commits a penalty to keep a drive alive, and there 30 seconds later, you have a lead at halftime. How did it happen? Yeah,
a couple of turning points there. You know, you mentioned the first drive they score, we don't move it, and they're back down there again, about ready to go up 2 touchdowns. You know, the buzzards are circling a little bit, and Jacob Johnson gets the big interception and gets us the ball back, and then we're able to go down and score and pull to within 1. And then I thought the other turning point was not only the touchdown to pull us through within 1 again before we go in at the half, but obviously the bloop kickoff recovery, and then we score in 1 play. Now we go in ahead at half, and we're getting the ball coming out of the locker room in the second half. So there's a lot of turning points, but those two junctions were probably as big as any.
Expanding on that, Coach, though, so you're up 20-14 at halftime with possession to start the third quarter. If you don't score in that opening possession, Steele gets the ball back, only down by 6. It's still very much a game. You scored on your opening third quarter possession. How critical was that?
I thought it was big because now we seem to have the upper hand. Now the momentum's going the other way. You know, it's far from over, but you know, to go up 2 scores, it just seemed to energize us. Our defense, you know, was getting stops, and then we went down, scored again, and then pretty soon they are probably in a position to where they can't do what they want to do. They've got to be a little more one-dimensional, and anytime you can do that, your defense has an advantage. And that, I thought, and our offensive line seemed to take control of the game. You know, really the second half did not unfold as we planned at half. I think we only threw 2 passes in the second half. That was certainly not part of a grand design with quarterback receivers that we have. But, you know, the running game, we just kept working, and we just kept riding the hot hand, and it took some clock. Maybe gave the O-line a chance to wear him down a little bit, and I don't know if we thought it would go like that, but we're tickled that it did.
On the topic of riding the hot hand, for you this past Friday in the running game moves Mark Franco. Last week you lost Arlington Frash to an injury early in the ball game against Round Rock, and then Nick Aiken goes out of the game early for you against Steele. Next man up, here comes Franco, and he ran the ball so well against a really good front 7 in Steele. How impressive was his play?
Well, I thought he did his job. And you know, sometimes when you're in a backup role, you say you got to be ready, and you tell them they've got to be ready. But sometimes kids are ready and they're not. And early in the ball game, you're up, big boy. Let's go. And real pleased with how he responded. Hardly surprising. He's worked hard and he's got talent, and it didn't shock us.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that you didn't have to throw the ball a whole lot against Steele. You know, thanks in large part to building a big lead in the second half, you're able to run the football and run a lot of clock. But the throws you did ask Levi Williams to make, boy, did he make them. against maybe the best secondary that you'll play all year long, a secondary that has 3 Big 12 commits playing defensive back. How looking at the play of Levi Williams, how did he do?
Well, I thought more than anything he made plays when he had to. A lot of 3rd and 4th down conversions, a lot of throws into tight windows. Did a good job with his feet as well. He actually ended up being our lead rusher. I think went over 100 yards. And so, yeah, it didn't really unfold like we thought it would. You know, we felt like we'd have to spray the ball all around the field, be very balanced offensively. And I think we were, in the sense that they had to defend the pass and the run. And then the running game just got hot, and we rode that horse. But he played very, very well and did make some crucial throws at crucial times into tight spaces.
And how well did your defense adjust following the first couple of quarters against Steele?
Yeah, I thought that was the key as well. You know, they had great success running the ball on us in the first 2 drives. We were lucky to get the turnover to end the 2nd drive. Then I thought we settled in a little bit. You know, started playing our gap integrity a little bit better, started fitting the ball better, started defining the running lanes and rallying to the ball. And you know, when you play a team of that caliber, you don't get to win every play or every drive or even every quarter. And, you know, but we kept fighting the fight, and eventually we found some ways to be successful.
Well, plenty of big plays for Smithson Valley in their win over the Knights. Let's take a look at this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's take a look. Our first play of the week is a defensive play that we felt finally got the momentum back on our side. We'll focus just for a minute on Jacob Johnson. Senior free safety right here with a circle around him. You know, at this point, Steele's ahead 7-0 and obviously getting on that end of the field, ready to take what could be a 2-touchdown lead. As the play unfolds, you can see the play action fake with the quarterback and the running back, and they're going to try to sneak the fullback straight through the middle of the field, hoping that we'll fall for the run fake. As the play unfolds, you can see the ball goes up top. Jacob comes from the other side of the field, makes a great play on the ball. Picks it off, gets us a little bit of a run back, and of course at that point, you know, the momentum comes back in our favor. There he is again from the rear. You can see his eyes in the backfield. There's the fake. He doesn't fall for it. Here comes the tight end or the B-back straight down the middle field. Jacob makes a nice run on the football. Big play. You know, things weren't going well for us. We were down 7-0, and we had a chance to really fall behind and lose momentum. Next big play is a kickoff play. We've scored to pull to within 22 seconds to go in the first half. Looks like we're going to go in down 1 in a tight game. And Mason Reed, a junior kicker, does just a tremendous job of hitting your sand wedge right where you want it up near the cup. The ball is supposed to land on the 20. You can see it does land exactly on the 20 with a great hang time. Takes a backwards bounce. You can see it spinning back toward us. And then Ethan Sill, a junior safety who runs down on our kickoffs, recovers it. Gives us the ball with a chance before the half to maybe score again. There it is. You can see great hang time on that ball. Coming down on the 20, as we said. The backspin. Ethan's just outdives, takes the ball away from their guy. Creates great excitement, and it gives us a shot, as I said, to score before the half. And here's the very next play where we do, in fact, score before the half. Immediately after the kickoff recovery, we'll focus on senior wide receiver Ricky Rios at the top of the screen, who's circled. We have 3 receivers down here to the right. Ricky's soloed. Levi's looking for the best matchup. Ricky has a one-on-one. This is what you call a back shoulder throw. Normally in a play like this, you throw the ball out in front of him and let him run to it. Instead, we throw the ball behind him on his back shoulder. The DB is not able to recover. Ricky contorts his body, goes up and catches it in the corner of the end zone. Just an outstanding throw and catch by he and Levi. And of course, you know, now we're going to go in at the half ahead. From the rear, you can see great pass protection. Our offensive line doing a great job of giving Cup, you know, pushing him off the cliff to either side and then stymieing him in the middle. So Levi's got great protection here. There's the throw to the corner of the end zone, just a great catch. And as I said, now we've got great momentum and we go in ahead at the half. And those are our plays of the week.
And Coach, I go back to the big play on defense for you. All 3 of those plays, by the way, were huge. But the interception by Jacob Johnson, again, at that juncture in the game, you're down 7-0, Steele on the doorstep of taking a 2-possession lead, but you turn them away.
Yeah, great awareness. You know, we hadn't seen that play out of them, but and those are plays that defensively you can be vulnerable to when you're stacked up to stop the run, which we obviously were because they were running the ball so well. And he saw it, he spotted it, and he made a great catch, you know, in tight quarters. And like you said, I think it At that point, we got to breathe a little bit. Okay, we got off the field. Now let's see what we can do offensively. And we followed that up with a score, and the game was on.
And that'll get a look back at the win over Steele this past Friday. Coming up later in the show, we'll preview the Rangers' upcoming district game against East Central. Coming up after the break, we have this week's Senior Moments and Little Men. Back with more Inside Rangers football in just a moment.
Summerhill Dental is your partner in getting a better night's sleep tonight. Our appliances are a proven solution to stop snoring and sleep apnea. No CPAP, no surgery, not so scary.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelek, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sendejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Coming up in just a bit, we have this week's Little Men segment, but right now we talk about the big men for Smithson Valley, the offensive line, and this week's Senior Moments with Emily Wick. Emily?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. So I'm here today with Mike, Lathan, John, and Patrick. How are you guys doing? Good. So, you know, you've seen the show a few times, I'm sure. What I'd like you to do real quick before we get started is give thanks to the woman who got you here in one piece this morning. Get your phones out. Text your mama hi and tell her you love her. So, Lathan, can you tell me what is it that you think that Miss Piggy sees in Kermit?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's the green.
Yeah?
She's attracted to green.
Think she's attracted to green?
Yeah.
Do you think that secretly Kermit actually likes Miss Piggy?
I think at times, yes.
Maybe
really
so. Do you think it's all that karate chopping she does to him that she's finally worn him out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She broke him down, yeah.
She broke him down. So, Mike, if you were going to a job interview, what do you think is the most important thing? A brilliant personality, smart, experience, or being a snappy dresser?
Probably just being smart.
Being smart?
Yes, ma'am. Cause like if you're smart, then they'll like know that you'll make good decisions. You'll be a good worker for them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would you do to show someone how intelligent you were?
That's hard to say. I would probably That's hard to say. It's too close to me.
So, Mike, have you gone on a job interview yet?
I've not really. My job was just like, you want the job? And then we're like, yeah. Like, okay, you got it.
So you haven't actually had experience with that yet?
No, ma'am.
No, okay. I couldn't tell. I I think you're doing a great job. Patrick, do you have a favorite song?
Favorite song? No, I like a lot of songs. I mean, I also range in varieties of like genres and stuff I like in music.
What genres are your favorite?
My favorite genres, it depends on my mood, honestly.
Yeah.
And lately, I always used to hate country music, but now lately I've been into it.
What songs kind of got you turned around?
Probably like older country songs.
Yeah?
Yep, I just hear people kind of like singing it like anytime, of course I brought up the song or the town Lukenbach, people would like start singing the song and I was just like, oh, I gotta hear the song. I heard it.
Yeah? Well, I know how that song goes. Do you guys?
Nope.
Patrick, why don't you share? Can you sing a little bit of Lukenbach?
We need help. I don't know if I can sing.
Just try it. I bet you can do a better job than you think you can.
Ready? Go. All right.
Do you want to pick a different song? Patrick, who have you ever given the best gift to and what was it?
The best gift I've ever given would be a jacket to my dad, and it was because my dad has given me a lot in my life, so I thought, I should really pay him back, and I went out and I spent all my money I'd saved on a jacket for him.
I was out the other day and someone threw a bottle of omega-3 fish oil at me. Luckily, my injuries were super fish oil. Right? Right? Good.
Oh, I got a joke.
Yeah?
Yep. What do you call an alligator in a vest?
I don't know. What can you call an alligator in a vest? Alligator in a vest.
Investigator.
That's pretty good. So, John, is there anything really that's happened to you that's been really lucky?
Really lucky?
Really lucky.
Coming into school.
Coming to the school. That's a good one. When did you get here?
Right on the border of going to this school and another school.
Yeah, well, very good. I'm glad that you're a ranger.
Yeah,
very
I
cool.
am too.
Very cool. So, John, do you have a joke for me?
Sure.
Okay.
Why did the chicken get to the other side?
Why did the chicken need to get to the other side?
To get to the other side.
Well, that makes sense. All right, guys, thanks for being here with me today. It's been a lot of fun. Coach Brant, back to you.
Go Rangers! Thanks, Emily. And again, coming up here in just a moment, it's this week's Little Men. Coach, what do you have in store for us this week?
Well, the old make them think it's one play and it's really something else. We'll take a look at the dart play.
All right, let's go check out this week's Little Men.
In today's Little Men segment, we'd like to illustrate what our offense calls a dart play. The dart play is an offshoot of our sweep play. Let's go to the Little Men and I can better illustrate that. On this play, if you've watched Smithson Valley play a lot, you know that frequently we bring this receiver in fast motion, hand him the ball on the sweep, and he continues around to the outside, and we run that play several times each game. Defense is well aware of this. So in this particular dart play, we will run him across, fake the ball to him, have a blocker go with him as though the sweep play is being run, but really the quarterback, after faking it to him, will keep the ball into this area here. We will attempt to create a down block, an out block, and have the remaining back be the lead blocker for the quarterback, and we will hit that area right here. So it's a dart play off of our jet sweep play. Let's go to the game tape, and I think you can see it even better. The first example is from a game a year ago. You can see we've got the sweep threat coming from the top of the screen towards the bottom, and the fullback flying out with him. It looks like the sweep to the left, and instead it's the quarterback keep to the right behind a running back lead block right there. Big alley up in the middle, and we actually take that one all the way to the end zone. Doesn't always have a happy ending like that, but this time it did. End zone view gives you a real good look. The sweep fake coming out draws the linebackers and the safeties with that flow, which creates a big running lane back the other way, again with the running back seal on the outside linebacker, and a quarterback's coming right at you on the camera into the end zone. Another example, a similar but different look. This time the sweep fake is coming from one of our backs in the backfield. As the play unfolds, you see him going right to left, drawing the 2 linebackers to the top of the screen. And once again, he's following the running back's block on the linebacker, and our tight end is sealing off the cornerback here and giving us an inside alley for our quarterback to run. We get a big gain, moves the chains, and puts us down on the other end of the field. From the end zone, you get another good view. There's the sweep fake with the fullback, followed by the linebackers chasing that fake. Got great seal blocks to the inside, got great turnout blocks to the outside, and then there's our running back leading on the linebacker. Big hole for our quarterback, and then his athleticism takes over and he runs to daylight. The play actually ends up over on the left sideline. The dart play. And now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, Smithson Valley won its 27-6A opener over Steele this past Friday, a win that snapped the Knights' 41-game winning streak in district play. The last time Steele had lost a district game was in 2009. Against which team? Is the answer A, Kerrville-Tivy, B, Judson, or C, Alamo Heights? The answer is A, Kerrville-Tivy. That night, the Antlers beat the Knights 38-34 at Litoff Stadium and were led by future Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel. Steele wouldn't lose another district game for another 8 years until this past Friday, a 43-20 win by Smithson Valley.
And yes, an impressive win for Smithson Valley this past Friday, beating Steele 43-20. This week, the Rangers look to make it 2-0 district play when they take on the East Central Hornets. More on that game coming up next. Inside Rangers Football continues in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came here to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Brant Freeman with Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers are 4-0, 1-0 in 27-6A play, and they can make those records 5-0 and 2-0 with a win this Friday at home against the East Central Hornets. Coach, the Hornets come into this game struggling. They're 0-4 so far this year, lost their opener in 27-6A play to Clemens. Initial impressions of East Central, what stands out?
Well, I think defensively their front stands out. You know, people are having a hard time getting a lot of movement, running the ball successfully. You know, people have had a little success running the ball outside, maybe throwing the ball a little bit. But I think those guys play extremely well, and I think they've got some playmakers on offense. You know, they're figuring out how to get them the ball still and that sort of thing. And so we'll need to play well. There's no doubt. We always do. We're not the type of team that can ever think, well, we've got this or we've got that. We got to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and we'll do that this week, and they'll get our best on Friday.
One of those playmakers in offense is Blade Strelchek. He's had the football about 20 times this year for over 300 yards, so certainly he's making the most of his opportunities. Yeah. In terms of slowing down East Central's offense, what is that going to take?
Well, I think keeping them away from explosive plays. You mentioned the Strelchek kid. See, being an East Central boy, I know how to pronounce that guy's name, Strelchek. He probably lives in St. Hedwig, but he's a former quarterback. He's making his hay running the ball, catching the short one, going up the field. And so keeping them from getting the 50, 60-yarder, making them drive the football, you know, I think will be good. And then can we make some explosives? Their secondary tends to play loose. Can we take a short catch and throw and turn it into something big? Can we take a short run and turn it into something big and beat them in the explosive area?
You mentioned the play of their defense. How do they line up? What looks are you expecting to see?
Well, they're a 4-man front that occasionally will play some 3 down. They've been kind of back and forth on that, so we're going to have to prepare for both, which is a little concerning. Most people usually base one way, and so it'll be a challenge for our offensive line to recognize quickly what they're doing and be on the right people.
You know, anytime we preview the East Central game, and you already kind of alluded to this, we can't help but bring up the fact that you yourself are a former Hornet. How special is this game for you anytime you line up on the other side against East Central?
Well, you know, it's the game each year that I know both alma maters, you know, and my dad coached there. My brother and I played there. I've got a lot of warm friends that still live out there that at times have had kids that play there. So, you know, I hope they lose this week, but I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for the East Central Hornets.
A lot of times, Coach, you speak to anybody coaching high school, college, or pro, and they'll ask coaches about bouncing back from losses. I actually want to ask you about bouncing back from a win. I mean, you know, I know that for your program, you never get too caught up in wins or losses against anybody, but you did beat Steele, a state powerhouse, over, you know, the last 5 or 6 years or so. So that was a big win for you. How do you recover from that and focus on East Central?
Well, our kids know how we do things, whether we're bouncing back from a loss or a win, whether we played a highly regarded foe or someone who's not. Monday's Monday and we do these things. Tuesday's Tuesday and we do these things. And I think there's comfort in a routine, and I think that we'd like to think that that keeps kids from inevitable highs and lows that could happen during the season if we kind of go through the checklist every week. We'll be going through the checklist the same this week, whether we had beaten Steele or not. And so our kids know that, they're comfortable with that. That doesn't surprise them whenever we take that approach. And so we'll be ready. If we don't play well Friday, it'll be because East Central's taking it to us. It won't be because we're too busy looking back or looking ahead.
All right, Coach. Good luck on Friday.
All right, thank you, Brant.
Again, Smiths Valley hosting East Central this Friday at 7:30 from Ranger Stadium. We'll have live coverage at RangersNetwork.com starting at 7:15. For Smiths Valley head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.